This is the INKPULP podcast. This is the INKPULP podcast. Comics, hip hop, life.
One, two, three. Welcome to the INKPULP podcast, part 3 in our series of panel transitions. Based on the ideas put forth by Scott McCloud in his book, Understanding Comics, he attempted to define every type of panel transition that could occur between two images, one panel to another panel, and how that communicates information to the reader. And in doing so, and in learning these 6 transitions, you learn to be a storyteller, and you learn how storytelling works. So this is kind of like the laying the groundwork for you as a storyteller, starting to learn these lessons. So far, we've covered moment to moment and action to action. And those panels work very directly. The transitions are very quick and easy to understand. You're dealing with a slight moment changing, so not a lot of information changes from panel to panel. Just enough to let you know a little bit of time has passed. Action to action, you've got an action and a reaction. Again, it's a much easier type of panel to work with and to understand because it's so the visual information is so directly tied to each other. But now we're going to step into something a little more difficult to comprehend on the creator side, but just as easy to comprehend on the viewer side if you do your job well. And that one is what we refer to as subject to subject. All right? So subject to subject deals with this idea that we're staying within a subject and showing different elements of it. And we can think of that subject as a scene. So let's say we have a scene that takes place in a bar. We can show different aspects of what's happening in the bar without having to be so direct with immediate visual information that describes quicker transitions. That's a bit abstract. Let me show you. So let's say we have a tier. I like to work in tiers. They kind of act like sentences to me as a storyteller. So we've got one sort of squarish panel, one horizontal panel, and I'm going to demonstrate what subject to subject is. So let's say we have a character A. And character A is at the bar, which means character B might be the bartender. All right. This is going to be very key that we set everything up properly. So even something as simple as a thumbnail indication, let's say a black vest and a white shirt, might indicate a bartender at a classy bar. Let's say we're doing an over-the-shoulder shot. Character A. So we're going to let the lighting come from the bar, and we will put character A in silhouette, putting the focus on the bartender. Now, what else do we need? Well, there's things we can do. So typically at a bar, you have taps, and you have glasses. There's always typically bottles of liquor, bottles of wine, all different shapes and sizes. That helps you know it's a bar too. So, a little research doesn't hurt here. So you've got some bottles behind it. Okay. We could even have a secondary shelf with some more bottles in it if you wanted. We don't have to get too far into the details of all that, but we're setting the scene for a bar. Bars are typically a little bit of a glossy surface, so we can add a little reflection into there. And there we've set our scene. Bar. And let's say the bartender is pouring character A a drink in the next shot. Well, this is where subject to subject comes into hand. If we were doing moment to moment, we'd need the bartender to reach, grab specific bottle of bourbon, because bourbon's the best. Grab specific glass for said bourbon. Character A says on the rocks, fill the glass with ice, uncork the bottle, pour. All of those moments, if we were to do this all in moment to moment, could take a couple of pages. And in terms of the speed at which your story unfolds, that's slowing down your story quite a bit. And is it necessary? That's a really good question to be asking yourself. Is it necessary? So what we could do, if we've done our job well, is very easily let's say we have our rocks glass on the bar, and let's say the bartender's pouring the bottle. Maybe some drops are coming out. I find that anything you can add to show movement or something's happening, like drops popping out of glass, stuff like that, just adds more life to everything. Let's say we got an ice cube floating in there too, and all that jazz. So what we've done here is we've used subject to subject to communicate this idea of a bar and now a glass of liquor being poured. And you don't have to do moment to moment to describe every little step along the way. If you were storyboarding an animation, that might be a more important means to do it. And you could use things like cutting and stuff to speed up time. But time and space in a comic book are very equal. Time and space in a movie are not. To do something moment to moment for an entire story could turn a 10-page story into a 400-page story. And you have to think about how that's affecting the speed of the read, and are you pacing yourself out of the game too much by losing your reader, by giving them too much. Involve them in your storytelling. Don't push them aside and do all the work for them. All right? And that's today's lesson on subject to subject storytelling. If you'd like to know more, go to INKPULPinstruction.com, link in the comments, and I get into these lessons much deeper. Peace.
This is the Ink Pulp Podcast. This is the Ink Pulp Podcast. Podcast. Comics. Hip hop. Life.